This is a station identification moment. You're listening to CPR Worldwide Media, a division of CPR Media Network, coming to you live right across the planet. Check out our website at www.cprworldwidemedia.com and our Facebook page at facebook.com/CPR Worldwide Media. This is CPR Media Network, coming to you live from the USA.
Well, looky here, a new listener. Hey, this ain't your little sister's radio station.
How are things with the new guy?
All we do is go out to dinner.
That's it?
I mean, he picks up the tab every time, which is great.
Why? He's using you. He probably has a city thank you card and he gets 2 times the points at restaurants.
So he's just racking up points with me.
Some people.
Ugh.
No, I got it.
The City Thank You Preferred Card. Now earn 2 times the points on dining out and entertainment with no annual fee. To apply, go to city.com/thankyoucards.
It's not about how many miles you can get out of the C-Max Hybrid. It's about how much life you can fit into it. The Ford C-Max Hybrid, with an EPA estimated range of 540 miles on a tank of gas, and all the room you need to enjoy the trip. Go stretch out. Go further.
Come on, Harry!
Dumb and Dumber 2 is the #1 movie in America.
Am I right? What?
Seriously, it's #1.
These guys are morons! I like her a lot.
Dumb and Dumber 2, rated PG-13, now playing.
However dark the night, however dim our hopes, the light is always there within you.
His family gave him hope.
You fight harder than those other guys, and you win.
His spirit gave him strength.
We're gonna die out here.
We're not dying!
And in his darkest hour,
Who is the Olympic athlete?
his faith would not be broken.
Hello, Mother and Father. This will be the first time in 2 years that you'll have heard my voice. I wish you all a Merry Christmas. Your loving son, Louis.
On Christmas Day, experience the unbelievable true story of one man's journey home.
You can take it. You can make it. Just gotta believe you can.
If I can take it, I can make it.
Unbroken, rated PG-13, Christmas Day.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
living in times where there is an assault on sanity. Political correctness has run amok and logic has been left by the wayside. Do you constantly ask yourself, WTF is going on in this nation? Do you sometimes feel like a stranger in your own country? Well, fear not. You are not alone. This is the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot Show, coming to you from deep inside flyover country with your hosts, V. Wright and Jose Estevez.
Welcome, everybody. It's WTF, and I am V. Wright.
And I am Jose Estevez, folks. And like the song said that we ran before our intro, meet the new boss, same as the old boss from The Who, won't get fooled again. But we just did today, folks. Barely, 12, 15 hours into the new Congress. Folks, as always, we are coming to you live, unrehearsed, unscripted, and unpolitically correct. PG-13, but not PC. Welcome to the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot Radio Show Tuesday edition, folks.
Well, hello, senor. How are you?
I'm doing good, V. How are you? Can you hear that, V?
Yeah, you got a scotch on the rocks?
I'm pouring a scotch on the rocks, folks. We'll see what I'm like by the end of the night. This is in honor of John Boehner. This is to you, buddy. Wait a minute. 151? I'm not sure if is that stronger than scotch? It may be an interesting show before we get done here tonight, folks.
Tequila!
As long as we don't sing the Pina Colada song. Oh, darn, there we go again. I've had that earworm for about 2 or 3 hours, so I need to kind of spread the love with Pina Colada song. Although most of our listeners do have half a brain, they've actually got a whole brain. So we're blessed in that respect.
Yeah, but I don't know if they like drinking pina coladas, get caught in the rain.
Well, yeah, maybe in 6 feet of snow or something like that. Who knows? You know. I'm doing all right. I still got the cold, but I'm here, and we're going to do our show, and we're going to have some fun and talk about current events and politics.
Well, yes, I sat and I watched the vote. Yes, I'm one of those geeky morons that sit there and watch C-SPAN to watch a vote. And I did do that. And I realized that we actually only have about 16 conservatives out of the 400 plus members of Congress.
Isn't that something?
we have 150 odd plus progressive commies, and then we have 209 plus the ones that chose not to vote because they didn't want to get caught in the political storm, because they don't have those kind of spines. Although they would have voted for the weeping carrot.
The weeping carrot.
John Boehner.
I heard though, on a positive note though, something positive did come out of today. I think he got a sponsorship from Puffs Plus. So if you could just find a good scotch company, and maybe a tanning bed company, this guy's going to make millions.
Know.
Oh wait, he's already probably made millions. Never mind.
We'll get there. I was looking at him today, and I really think he's going for the black look. I really think, because he's, shading himself closer and closer to Hussein. I watched him as he stood there next to the pink piglet Pelosi.
Pink piglet Pelosi. I love alliteration, folks. Ain't it great?
And he looked like old, worn, tanned hide.
Well, that's what happens.
Really did. It was like a blotchy. It was like bad tanning lotion.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
That kind of like in certain spots. It's like where you didn't wash his face or something. He put this tanning lotion on and it got kind of dirty looking. It really did. It looked like some old tanned hides.
Right. Who's that one actor that married? Did he marry Barbara, real dark tan. Remind me, actor, big in the 80s, maybe 70s or 80s.
I know who you're
You know who I'm talking about, but
yes.
George Hamilton, is that who I'm thinking of?
Yes.
Yeah, George Hamilton. I'm not sure if he's married to Barbara. That's what I remember. But anyway, yeah, kind of like that.
Boehner don't have anything. I mean, he doesn't have anything on Boehner. The weeping carrot has it hands down.
The weeping carrot.
He really does.
I think he might have had a drink or two before he went out on the floor too. That was just my impression, and I didn't see him. I was just listening.
Well, he wasn't there for the vote.
No, but I heard him saying something at some point.
Under the big announcement where everybody stood and applauded. Right. Yay! The Weeping Orange has arrived. Yay! Anybody got a blender?
Oh, I'm sure they're going full speed in the back. I'm sure.
We got a caller. Caller, what's your name? Where you calling from? And you got 2 minutes.
Is it me?
Yes, it is.
You're live.
Oh, this is Tim.
Tim, how are you tonight? Where are you calling from?
Ohio.
All right, Ohio. What do you got for us tonight, Tim?
How you doing tonight, Jose?
Doing, well, a little cold and I think this scotch on the rocks is helping ease my pain, though.
Well, can you send some to me?
I'm pretty sure that's not going to work too well. You'll just have to join me. Some I don't know. Just imagine it or something like that.
Gotcha. Sorry, my beautiful fiance couldn't call. She's doing Zumba tonight.
I don't know.
But,
Zumba. Okay.
I'm sure she would love to bash some liberals, but as promised, I calling in and. I tell you, Cincinnati, first of all, needs to figure out what the heck they're doing down there, keeping this guy in office, period. But, Boehner is no better than any other elected official, as far as I'm concerned, in the Congress. I mean, yeah, we got our seats, we got the Senate, but we keep these guys in power that claim to be conservative and does nothing at all.
There you go.
Practically just let Obama write whatever he wants to write. And I tell you, I really thought we had a chance of kicking them out of the speaker's chair. And then I saw this, and I'm dumbfounded, and I'm ashamed of those representatives that I know are a joke anyway. But I'm just shocked, and the conservatives, where are they? Why are they allowing this guy to continue to be the speaker?
Because it's an old boys game, because there's a lot of strong arming there, because you've got people that have amassed so much political control and so much political power, they are not going to let go of it, and because there are so many skeletons to remain hidden. So the blackmail game is going on strong. The strong arm tactics are unbelievable, and folks, it's it's intimidation. It's to let all those freshman senators and congressmen coming in know, you don't know how we play the game. If you step out of line, we're going to squash you.
Well, and here's a bit of news here, Tim, that maybe you hadn't even heard yet. They can say what they want, that maybe if we had more time, we could have done more. We only did it in the last 24 to 48 hours. We should have been working weeks ago. Okay, there may be something to that, but I'm going to tell you what. Listen to this story that just hit the news right now. Breaking. Boehner takes revenge. Florida Representative Daniel Webster, who got 12 votes. Now, everybody talked about having Louis Gohmert out of Texas possibly taking over. Gohmert only got 3 votes out of these people that went against Boehner. Webster got 12 votes from the people, and already this afternoon, since this thing has gone through and Boehner's been put back in his spot as Speaker of the House, he is off of his position as a spot on the House Rules Committee. Now, the House Rules Committee is a panel appointed by the Speaker, controls the flow of legislation to the House floor. It's a prestigious appointment for members who are loyal to leadership, and he's already been knocked out of that position just this afternoon. So that tells you all you need to know right there.
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more.
You're either going to play the game or you're going to be punished for it. And you know what? I guess we can have 2 more years of unfettered hope and change and continued fundamental transformation, because that's the way I see it coming down.
You actually said that on your Facebook. earlier
Right,
today.
yeah, the exact.
But-
I thought of it. I mean, that's exactly what we've been seeing. We got the Cromnibus passed before the holiday. Had to rush it through, fund everything except for DHS. You mark my words here on the show right now tonight, 7:18 p.m. Eastern, on the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot radio show. They're going to fund the DHS. Everything's going to happen. Now, they might make some moves, and you'll have somebody like Gowdy standing up making a lot of noise. They'll make some noise. Exactly. They'll make some noise. But I'll tell you what, it's going to be the same old, just like the song we played at the beginning of the show, Meet the New Boss. Same as the old boss, folks. There you go.
Well, exactly. Well, caller, we appreciate you calling in, Tim.
Oh, no problem. I'll continue spreading the word about your radio program.
Thank you, sir.
We appreciate it.
What's your gun place down there in Ohio? Tell us real quick.
Well, I have two. I have a group, Tactical Firearm Ohio, and I also am launching my instructors group, Means of Defense.
There we go.
Of Defense.
We appreciate you, and we'll put the word out there on that, too. You're doing some good stuff, and, of course, we love the whole firearms aspect of it, Second Amendment, and you're doing some great stuff. And say hi to your wonderful fiancée for us. She's a great lady.
Oh,
and,
we love her.
Yeah, you guys are just amazing, so thanks for calling in, my friend.
I will tell her, and thanks for having me. You guys have a good day. Night now, I guess. But
yeah.
I'll continue listening.
All right, thank you, sir. We
Right,
appreciate it. Thanks for your call.
Thank you.
An interesting note. And it kind of goes along. We were talking about, everything that, everybo's so angry at Boehner, the weeping carrot, because of his wilting to Harry Reid.
I just saw a picture of Harry Reid. He's in rough shape. We didn't talk about that yesterday, but he's in rough shape, folks. He apparently had to run in with a piece of workout equipment, but my personal idea is that either the mob finally got a hold of him, like they probably should have a long time ago, or maybe one of his female friends or something might have gotten a hold of him. I'm not sure exactly what happened there, but he looks rough. Well, he looks rough anyway. I mean, he's not exactly a spring chicken, but yeah, he looks pretty rough there, and I guess... Well, hopefully he'll get better at some point and maybe quit the Congress and go to a old folks home or something wherever he needs to go.
Well, where I was going was, I'm sorry, I got distracted for a second with something that held priority to keep us on the air.
Thank you.
Yeah. No, the weeping carrot, succumbed to Harry Reid's push for getting as much through as possible before the new Congress, and part of that was to ensure that the funding for Hussein Care would go forward. And I read an article today that explained why the drunken orange or the weeping carrot or whatever you want to call him, Mr. Hyde, would want to do that. And that is because in 2008, he invested a great deal of money in Signal and Aetna, and a lot of pharmaceutical companies, insurance industries, because he was very well aware, they get privy information. And it wasn't until 2012 that the rule was passed that they could not use the information that they got in their capacity of employment to better themselves financially, which they still do. They just do it backdoor.
Right.
But he has every one of his investments in healthcare, thanks to Hussein Care, has gone up 50 to 100%.
Man, where could I get some of that?
So why would he be for stopping O-Care when it is making him a killing?
Well, there you have it right there. Gee, I wonder. Follow the money, folks. Follow where the power comes from, and follow the money every time with everything, and that will tell you all you need to know. And there you have it. I wish I could invest in something to make 50 to 100% returns.
Well,
Guaranteed, almost.
At that particular point in time, the insurance industries were having a hard time. They were complaining about their profit margins, etc. If we all recall. And but only someone with, prior knowledge. Nancy Pelosi did the same thing.
Sure.
I mean, a great deal of her wealth is from having that insider knowledge from her position in the government and knowing what they were fixing to allow or what they weren't going to allow to make their being determining factors of where they invested their money. Of course, it's insider trading. Of course, they're not going to go to jail for it but it is insider trading.
Because they write the laws.
Exactly. But if you did it or I did it, what was that movie? Greed is Good. Didn't they all go to jail for the same thing?
Wall Street, Gordon Gekko from the 80s. One of my favorite movies of all time.
Absolutely.
But you know what? You can say what you want about the 80s, and they were talking about it being the decade of greed. Folks, what we see going on here now in this country and the amount of money makes what happened in the 80s look like peanut feed. It's just, well, here's another little ditty for you. Debt is up $7.5 billion under Obama. Well, gee, folks, if it's at $18 trillion right now, I mean, I'm not real good with numbers, but that's almost double. I mean, it's probably at least 40% up in 6 years under him, and he's still got 2 years left. And now he's got really nobody standing in his way, as far as I can tell. Maybe we'll be wrong, and these guys will come out and and act like they're supposed to. But I'm real pessimistic about it.
Are you really think that's going to happen?
I'm real pessimistic about it.
I have, my ability to have faith in those in Washington, D.C. I was hoping with so much fresh blood going to D.C. that maybe, just maybe, we could really turn this around. But when only, and I have the list here, these are the folks that did not vote for the crying carrot.
Well, Mia Love, Tea Party favorite out west, I'm sorry. She voted for Boehner. And where was Rowdy? Where was Rowdy Trey Gowdy, the golden boy? Everybody's golden boy.
He chose not to attend, but made it very clear that had he by not attending, his vote automatically went to Boehner. Just so
he
that
said
we
flat
know.
out he would have voted for
and
Boehner.
he had already said that exactly. But let's look at the real Americans we have in the House.
Right.
Ted Yoo-hoo. He voted for himself.
Yeah.
Randy Weber voted for himself.
Right.
Marlin Stutzman of Indiana voted for Weber. Scott Rigel voted for Weber.
Webster.
Webster.
Webster, yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Representative Palmer votes for Sessions of Alabama, who also voted for the crying carrot.
Of course.
Representative Richard Nugent of Florida voted for Webster. Representative Mick Mulvaney voted for the crying orange. I don't know how he ended up on my list. Representative Mark Meadows of North Carolina voted for Webster. Representative Massey of Kentucky voted for Yoho. Representative Steve King, who I absolutely love, of Iowa, voted for Webster. Representative Tim Huelskamp of Kansas voted for Webster. Representative Jeb Hensarling voted for the crying orange. I don't know why these people are on my list.
Right.
I did not do a very thorough job at pulling them out, I suppose. Representative Scott Garrett, Representative Paul Gosar voted for Webster. There was one vote for Trey Gowdy.
Right.
They do not say who that was.
Now, people are saying, well, he got snowed in. He couldn't possibly make it. I'm like, wait a minute. Don't they have weather forecasting apparatus down there in South Carolina where he's at?
Snowed in South Carolina? Seriously?
I think.
Wait a minute.
I think it was because up east in Washington area the weather was bad, so that was probably part of the reason. But really, you've known for how long you had to get.
I drove there in overnight. Okay, it's not that far.
Exactly. This is the year 2015, I believe, if my eyes are correct. And I think there's other modes of transportation. Also, I think there's such a thing as forecasting weather and maybe looking forward a day or two, or maybe, heck, 5 to 10 days. It boggles the mind that you can do that nowadays. But that kind of be an important thing to be there for, right, folks? But, make all the excuses you want for him. He wasn't there, and even if he was, he said he would have been for Boehner, so whatever.
Well, you want to hear this? Representative Cooper voted for Colin Powell.
Yeah, I heard somebody voted for Colin Powell. See, that's the thing. People, listeners, do you understand? Anybody in the United States can be the Speaker of the House. You do not have to be an elected official. Nothing at all. You do not have to be in the government at all. Anybody in the United States could be the Speaker of the House as long as they get the most nominations. So technically, you could have Colin Powell or Newt Gingrich. I'm just throwing names out there. Ted Nugent, for goodness sake. Can you imagine that? But technically, you could have anybody in the Speaker of the House position. They do not have to be an elected official, and they do not have to be a member of Congress to be the Speaker of the House.
Well, what's despicable to me is that Jeff Sessions, Trey Gowdy, and Trey Gowdy by default, okay, Jason Shavitz, Bridenstine, all of these people who we have sat back and said, these are contenders. These are future contenders. All of them jumped on the Weeping Carrots bandwagon.
Right. Mia Love, like I said, a huge disappointment.
Mia Love, yeah.
Mia Love's a huge disappointment. Tea Party darling from out west there, and went for Boehner. I mean, it's like, what the heck, people? I know there are some people that are very upset today about this whole thing, and understandably so.
Well, it just shows the level of corruption and the strong arm tactics. Like you said, there's already been repercussions for this, and of course they were going to do it because we were going to, as in any tyrannical situation, you have to squash, completely annihilate your competition so that it puts fear in others who might stage such resistance.
Right. Well, folks, we got to take our first break of the evening. If you'd like to join the show, our number, as always, is 313-462-0068. You can call us and tell us what your thoughts are about this. Boy, what a rousing start to the 114th Congress, huh? Anyway,
yeah.
Call us after the break and let us know what your thoughts are about anything. We'd love to hear from you, and hold on with us. We will be back.
This is a station identification moment. You're listening to CPR Worldwide Media, a division of CPR Media Network, coming to you live right across the planet. Check out our website at www.cprworldwidemedia.com and our Facebook page at facebook.com/CPR Worldwide Media. This is CPR Media Network, coming to you live from the USA.
Well, looky here, a new listener. Hey, this ain't your little sister's radio station.
Over the next 40 years, the United States population is going to grow by over 90 million people, and almost all that growth is going to be in cities. What's the healthiest and best way for them to grow so that they really become cauldrons of prosperity and cities of opportunity? What we have found is that if that family is moved into safe, green, affordable housing, places that have access to great school systems, access to jobs, and multiple transportation modes, then the neighborhood begins to thrive and really, really take off. The oxygen of community redevelopment is financing. And all this rebuilding that happened could not have happened without organizations like Citi.
One of the things that we really try to do is to collaborate with people like Jonathan Rose, who are really like-minded and really can also provide innovative solutions to social issues.
And Citi has formed a partnership with our company so that we can take all the lessons from the revitalization of urban America to other cities. So we're now working in Chicago and in Washington, D.C., and Newark.
It's branching off of Jonathan's expertise and the fact that he has done so many wonderful affordable housing projects, new development and rehabilitation work. And so we were really seeing that there was a need for his skill in areas even outside of New York.
It's amazing how important safe, affordable housing is to the future of our society.
You meet new people, they want to know what you do. And when you tell them your job is to invest in things like low-income housing and schools and healthcare, They're shocked, and they're so surprised that a job like this exists in finance. They always say that they had no idea, and then they want to know how they can get a job like that.
The design of the Ford Escape is clearly intended to grab your eye. Oh, and your foot. Huh, ain't that a kick? The Ford Escape with the foot-activated liftgate. Go open up something interesting. Go further.
Come on, Harry! Dumb and Dumber 2 is the #1 movie in America.
Am I right? What?
Seriously, it's #1.
In time. These guys are morons! I like her a lot.
Dumb and Dumber 2, rated PG-13. Now playing.
However dark the night, however dim our hopes, the light is always there within you.
His family gave him hope.
You fight harder than those other guys, and you win.
His spirit gave him strength.
We're gonna die out here.
We're not dying!
And in his darkest hour,
Who is the Olympic athlete?
his faith would not be broken.
Hello, Mother and Father. This will be the first time in 2 years that you'll have heard my voice. I wish you all a Merry Christmas. Your loving son, Louis.
On Christmas Day, experience the unbelievable true story of one man's journey home.
You can take it. You can make it. Just gotta believe you can.
If I can take it, I can make it.
Unbroken, rated PG-13, Christmas Day.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
Welcome back, everybody. It's WTF, and I am V. Wright.
And I am Jose Estevez. Welcome back, folks. We appreciate you joining us. You know we love our listeners here on the show. Folks, we got a special guest with us. V, you want to introduce her?
Yes, Senor, I will. We have Miss Ruthie Hendricks from the Ruthie Report. She is a new show being added to the CPR Worldwide Media Network, and we are thrilled to have her. Ruthie!
Hello. Thank you very much for having me on the program tonight.
Oh, our pleasure. Our pleasure. Ruthie, why don't you give our listeners an idea what your show's about?
All right. The show, which will debut this coming Thursday at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern, is a 2-hour program every Thursday night, addresses the issues of illegal immigration. And what I do is I share the news from week to week. I have a couple of segments. One is the lead stories, to get you updated on the news. One is the criminally and or insane segment from 8:30 to 9. And then I have guests on for the last hour. And what it is meant to do is to keep we the people, those that are engaged, educated on what's going on, activated and motivated to stop this invasion and the insanity.
Well, that sounds like a good topic to have because, we all know that we're getting inundated, not only by our southern border, but as the Senor and I have been reporting, or as late as yesterday, they're coming across the northern border, they're coming across from our shores. The Senor, what was it yesterday that we were talking about?
Well, we were just talking. They're coming from everywhere, and primarily a lot of Muslims are coming. People think it's just the Mexicans that are coming over, but actually a lot of the ones coming from the south are coming from deep in South America and just passing through Mexico, using it as a conduit A lot of them getting on that train called the Beast, and Mexico is kind of like you're coming in the south, you're going right out the north. Don't stop, we don't want you. But boy, I mean, the Muslim, we've talked about the Muslims coming in. Of course, a lot of them are coming in, quote unquote, legally, because they're suffering oppression and stuff like that. So we're bringing them in by the hundreds of thousands from all over the Middle East and settling them all over the United States.
We're bringing them in on what's a scam called resettlement program, and I will be having a special guest on the 29th of this month to talk about nothing but that. But what it really is the resettlement where they're bringing them in is just a way so that they don't have to spit on our rule of law and enter illegally. Instead, we're just bringing them over and the taxpayers are paying for it. And for the invasion, we have people coming from every place on this planet. Now the Cubans, of course, have jumped in on this. This is such a national security risk issue. Even if you do not know, the listeners have no idea where they really want to stand on the issue of illegal immigration. I'm assuming most stand for the rule of law. But even if you don't want to address it from that point of view, this is a national security risk, and it is the American citizenry, that is going to pay the price.
Now, Ruthie, I have a question for you. When we talk about the Islamics that they're bringing in, and you call it the resettlement program, is that part of the State Department's U.S. aid asylum and refugee program, or is that totally separate?
I'm really not sure. It's such a game right now with what's going on. I'm from Minnesota. And we have a lot of the Somali population coming into the Minneapolis-St. Paul area. And we know that they're going back home and fighting against our own people. So if you want to call it a resettlement, you want to call it's an what would you call it? Migration, refugee, you want to call it. Example, the Christians, you have to be, for this resettlement or many of the programs, you have to be targeted by your own government. That's a reason for you to be able to be in this program and enter this country. Well, right now, overseas, ISIS is targeting Christians, but the government isn't. So many of the Christians are not even eligible to come here. They're not part of the state. It's just insane.
None of that is part of the Middle Eastern lottery program either, is it?
No. There's the lot. Who in the world would have ever thought that to come to America, to get your chance at the American dream, would be put up on a lottery? For criminy sakes, just the idea of that is insane. It's insulting. It's insulting to all of those legal residents who are in the United States right now who played by the rules. Those that took 3 to 5 years to get here to get their share of the American dream, and they're being spit on just like you and I are. Anything for the illegals, turn a blind eye to everything.
Well, exactly, because in that lottery program, it does not, the lottery program does not take into account whether or not you have criminal actions, what your background is, what you can contribute. None of that. None of that. It is targeting specifically Islamic people. Period. And it is totally a lottery, and Senor and I have discussed that quite a few times here, and it is rapidly nauseating.
Yeah, that would be a good word for it. Yes. Well, and it's right now. So much of the focus is on those that are coming across, or used to be those coming across from Mexico. But right now, actually, the OTMs, other than Mexicans, is what we call them, OTMs, okay. That's what the government calls them, has overtaken Mexicans. It's real simple. The Ruthie report and myself personally, I can lay it out very clearly where I stand. I can't ding anybody for wanting to come to the United States of America for the American dream. However, you will come here legally. We need a sensible, legal immigration system, which we do not have, and you come here legally, then you assimilate. You have to live under the same rules, laws, language as we do. If you don't want to do that, you pick the wrong country. Illegal, if you come here illegally, I do not care what color your skin is, what country you came from, what language you speak, I do not care. If you are here illegally, you have spit on the rule of law and you need to go home. Period. Very simple.
Ruthie, I love that word you use, assimilate. Every time V and I talk about it, I bring that word up. And you're exactly right. We're not racist here. It's not based on anybody's skin or their background, but you're meant to come here legally and be a part of this melting pot, not keep, bring the best parts of your background, your heritage, and bring it all together, but learn the language. I grew up overseas. The first thing we did was learn their language, not make them learn our language. I mean, it just doesn't, that's the way it works, and that's the way we were the most effective but like I said, we never lost our American identity, and they appreciated that, but then we also learned the best of them. But yeah, we're meant to come here people are meant to come here to assimilate, and join and be part of this, and not stick your hand out, what can you give me? No, what can you do to make us all better so that we all come up together rather than bring us all down? I mean, but it seems to be just totally lost nowadays. It just seems to be totally lost.
Absolutely, absolutely. I mean, they come here with a sense of entitlement, with their hands out, like we've discussed so many times before. They cross the borders. They have nothing. They have no money. They have no food. They're willing to die in the desert from dehydration, for God's sakes. And what are they going to contribute? What are they going to contribute? They have no ability to speak the language. We don't even have interpreters for some of the language barriers.
Yeah. In court systems, we've actually have dialects of certain languages where they actually have to fly on taxpayer dollars. Of course, thank you, American taxpayer who's getting raped and confiscated. They have to fly people in who can actually speak this. But, you were just saying back there about how they'll come here illegally with their hands out making demands. Now we see signs where they're standing there. It was the most recent picture of a bunch of Muslim women standing there with signs, "Where's the jobs?" Or we have the Mexicans, the illegal aliens from Mexico coming up saying, "We want to work, we want to work, we want to do this and that." This is the point I'm getting to. The point is why is it allowed? Why do we, the people, and our representation allow them to come here and make demands upon the American citizenry, but they're not willing to stay in their own country and fight like you and I are for our country and make their demands there? The ones that are coming here are not the ones that have jobs in their home countries. It's not the ones that have no criminal record. It's not those, there's a reason why they're coming here. Take for Mexico, for example, a lot of the times it's the claim of they fear the violence. Why is it that they don't fight for their own homeland, for their own country, and demand that their government stop the violence, or their government provide them with jobs, or their government?
Because that means they actually have to do something, Ruthie. Let's face it. If we hadn't, if Joe Biden and Hussein, the ferry up at the White House, would not have funded their trip here, had not went down there, promoted it, gave them brochures how to get here, what to do when they got here, none of them would have come here.
Yeah. Food stamps. SNAP is actually advertised in Spanish in Mexico from the USDA. Our government, our taxpayer dollars, and they are flamboyant about it.
And this is the kind of stuff that the Weeping Carrot signed his name off on.
Well, sure.
Weeping Carrot.
You got her.
I love it. Oh my God. I hadn't heard that one before, V. Very good. I'm sorry. I apologize for the laughter. I'm sorry. That was just, I had to think for a second. Very good. Yes, and that brings us to the political realm here. And I take a very hard line on this. And they work for us, first of all. Let's just get that right out there. I am so tired of these politicians thinking that they are going to tell us what we will support, who we will support, when we will support it. I am so tired of this. It is unbelievable. They work for us. We
really?
do for them.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that seems contrary to popular belief.
That is really contrary to everything that we are seeing at the moment. Today was a prime example. They no longer work for us, Ruthie. They have become tyrannical. We have, I think I counted 16 in Congress today that work for us. The rest of them are Democrats or they're communist. If they were if we know them as a Democrat, they are communist. If we know them as a rhino, they're a Democrat. And then we have 16 conservatives.
There was 25 that actually voted against president.
That is incorrect. That is incorrect.
It is.
Absolutely. In that 25, when they said that they voted against against the norm, that was people who also they included in that some people that voted for Boehner. They included in that some people that voted for Pelosi. Somehow or another they got their numbers seriously mixed up, but in total there were 16.
16. Isn't that just a damn shame? I mean, seriously, if you think about it,
really
16 is. Really?
So we have 16 conservatives in the House of, how many have we got there? 435?
There you go. Talk about a minority.
We have 16 conservatives. We have Democrats, 200 and some odd Democrats. And then we have right at 200 communists.
Oh, we've got more communists than that, but
so I mean, but this is what we're up against. So I mean, as much as I would like to say that you're right, we own the government, we should be their boss. We have allowed them to fill their heads with enough ego and power that no, we do not own. We don't. We just pay the bills. That's what we do. We are slaves to our government.
Pulling the cart. And it's getting heavier and heavier.
Yeah. Well, and they say now, to go with Epic Failure's amnesty plan here, which, of course, he hasn't really signed an executive order on amnesty. Most people don't know that, but he's
Bingo.
never done it. But to go with this and go through this and push this through, well,
that was all a song and dance, let's be honest, because, you had everybody in Washington, D.C. saying, oh, well, we've got to do something about amnesty because he signed an executive order. We've got to do something. Every one of them knew that he had not signed an executive order for amnesty. Every one of them. So it was a song and a dance. It was like back in the 20s when the black man would put on his little tap shoes and get out there and dance, okay?
Well, it's the Potomac two-step. I mean, let's face it, that's what it is.
So now what the premise is, what they're trying to shove down our throats is that if we go ahead and go along with this epic failure amnesty plan that's going on, well, golly gee, then they'll get right by the law and they'll get driver's license and they'll pay insurance, and of course they're going to line up and register and everything for this, which is only right now temporary. It's only for 2 years until epic failure is out. My question is this: if we have no interior enforcement and we have no border security for the rest of them that are already on their way here, why would any illegal alien in this country sign up for anything? They're not going anywhere, so why would they give the government their names and addresses, which would be false anyway, just so that they could get in front of that cart with you and I and help pull the way? They're not going to, and that's the problem.
No.
That's what's not being reported is that they are not signing up.
Well, no, they're not signing up. They're signing up for driver's license. They're signing up for voter
California,
registration cards.
Did you hear?
They're signing up for welfare, but no, they are not signing up to get jobs. Why would they do that? It makes no sense. They come from an environment where they have never had to work. They would rather sit and starve. They make the trek here so that we provide for them. That is the land of opportunity, folks. Bust your butt and hand your money over.
Exactly. Did you hear? I just have to share. I could not believe it. I put a post out yesterday. I was just irate. Did you hear that in California, where they're lining up to take their permits, written permits to get their driver's license, they are failing them? The one woman that was in the interview, one article that I read, they interviewed her. She has taken it twice. She's been living in this country, spitting on the rule of law for 6 years, driving the whole time, goes to take the written test, which is in her own language of Spanish, and she failed it twice and could not sit and wait at the DMV to take it the third time because she had to get to work.
Now, let's be honest, folks. As we told you guys yesterday, you only needed a 60 to pass the written exam. Now, the next thing that we'll see is the California lawmakers under that brilliant icon, Mr. Jerry Brown, will...
Moonbeam?
Huh?
Governor Moonbeam?
Oh, absolutely. Him and the legislators there in California will drop the requirement to whatever, what's the lowest common denominator here? If we average out how bad they're failing it by, okay, that's 10. Okay. Oh, now you only need 10 to pass the test. There you go.
Oh, I'm sure it is possible.
Is this not an insult to our intelligence and our way of life? And
no, it's really not an insult to my intelligence because we figured it out. I mean, it just it is enraging that they care so little about the impact and effect. And I'm going to tell you, I remember having these very same conversations in 1986.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's true.
Yep. All of the broken promises and empty lies. If we just
if we would just acknowledge this 5 million that turned into 20 million, if we would just acknowledge this 5 million, we will build a fence. Where's that fence at, folks? 700 miles of border, totally unprotected. Where's the fence?
There you go. Hey, Ruthie, I got a question for you because we're coming up on the hard break at the top of the hour. Tell the listeners a little bit about yourself, whatever you're comfortable saying, and a little bit more about your show called The Ruthie Report that's going to be here on the CPR Worldwide Media Network every Thursday following our show at 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 p.m. Central. What do you want the listeners to know about you?
First, I would like to thank both of you very much for having me on this evening. Thank you very much. I have a group. I started in 2005, president and founder of Minnesotans Seeking Immigration Reform. I do have, of course, the Ruthie Report, which has been airing for about 5.5, 6 years. And then I'm involved in a lot of different organizations. So if they tune in every Thursday night, 8 Central, 9 Eastern, you will get to hear from these groups. Awesome guests. I'll keep you updated. And again, thank you, Jose and V, for having me on the show.
Oh, it's been our
pleasure. Yes, certainly.
So you guys make sure to tune in Thursday nights 9 p.m. following the Whiskey Tango Foxtrot show for the Ruthie Report. Easy to remember with your host Ruthie Hendricks giving you the lowdown on everything diseased invader related.
There will be plenty of information, I'm sure.
Ruthie, thank you for joining us tonight, and we wish you all the luck, and we will see you Thursday night.
Thank you, guys. Have a great evening.
You're welcome. You too. Yep, you too. Welcome to CPR Worldwide Media.
I'm just thrilled to be on board.
Very good. We're pleased to have you as colleagues.
All right. Good night.
Good night. But no, she's she's right. There is constantly something going on invader related.
Oh, and, every day. We got Sharon Darrington down there on the border at Camp Lone Star. They can tell you all about it. I mean, holy smokes. every day, folks. Just because it's out of the news cycle doesn't mean it ceased to exist.
Well, I mean, we've managed to find at least a couple of times a week a reason to have to discuss them.
You better believe it. A couple times a week at least. There's always stories about this stuff going on. And these crimmigrants or illegal aliens or illegal invaders, whatever you want to call them.
Diseased invaders.
Well, many of them are diseased and have brought a lot of stuff with them.
That's my chosen calling for them, diseased invaders.
Well, and they've been spread to all corners of the lower 48. We know that. They've been spread all over the place. All intentionally and all with a lot of forethought. This wasn't something that just happened. This was planned, and this was indeed facilitated by the regime, and we know that.
Well, exactly. I mean, there is absolutely no doubt of that. And then, it's like we've been talking, I mean, it's not just the Hondurans and the Guatemalans and everything. And even today, which we're running a little short on time here, but even today on the news, I saw the Mexican president there with Comrade Caliph from the White Mosque talking about how wonderful the comrade was for, his push on amnesty because, it's so good for America to do that. No, what that really means is it's so good for America to do that for Mexico.
That's exactly right. It benefits Mexico. You better believe it. That's why they're all for it. Getting rid of, just like Castro did when he emptied out his jails and prisons and all the people off the street and set them here on the Mariel boat lift back in the 70s. The whole Scarface thing, where that whole Scarface thing comes out of. Folks, we got to take a break, top of the hour. When we come back, join us. Call us at 313-462-0068. We would love to talk to you. I'm going to continue enjoying my scotch on the rocks in honor of John Boehner and his third term as Speaker of the House. Kind of a done deal now.
Drunken creepy carrot.
Drunken creepy. I mean, and boy, this scotch is good, but I think the bottle says Everclear, so I'm not sure if that's the right stuff. This may be a rough next hour. But anyway, join us, folks. We got to take a break. We will be right back.
This is a station identification moment. You're listening to CPR Worldwide Media, a division of CPR Media Network, coming to you live right across the planet. Check out our website at www.cprworldwidemedia.com and our Facebook page at facebook.com/CPR Worldwide Media. This is CPR Media Network, coming to you live from the USA.
Well, looky here, a new listener. Hey, this ain't your little sister's radio station.
Over the next 40 years, the United States population is going to grow by over 90 million people, and almost all that growth is going to be in cities. What's the healthiest and best way for them to grow so that they really become cauldrons of prosperity and cities of opportunity? What we have found is that if that family is moved into safe, green, affordable housing, places that have access to great school systems, access to jobs, and multiple transportation modes, then the neighborhood begins to thrive and really, really take off. The oxygen of community redevelopment is financing. And all this rebuilding that happened could not have happened without organizations like Citi.
One of the things that we really try to do is to collaborate with people like Jonathan Rose, who are really like-minded and really can also provide innovative solutions to social issues.
And Citi has formed a partnership with our company so that we can take all the lessons from the revitalization of urban America to other cities. So we're now working in Chicago and in Washington, D.C., and Newark.
It's branching off of Jonathan's expertise and the fact that he has done so many wonderful affordable housing projects, new development and rehabilitation work. And so we were really seeing that there was a need for his skill in areas even outside of New York.
It's amazing how important safe, affordable housing is to the future of our society.
You meet new people, they want to know what you do. And when you tell them your job is to invest in things like low-income housing and schools and healthcare, they're shocked and they're so surprised that a job like this exists in finance. They always say that they had no idea, and then they want to know how they can get a job like that.
The most amazing thing about the Ford Fusion isn't the way it looks. The most amazing thing is the way it sees. With blind spot technology, a lane keeping system, and a standard rear view camera, the Fusion is ready for whatever comes your way. Go prepared. Go further.
Come on, Harry! Dumb and Dumber 2 is the #1 movie in America.
Am I right? What?
Seriously, it's #1.
These guys are morons! I like her a lot.
Dumb and Dumber 2, rated PG-13. Now playing.
However dark the night, however dim our hopes, the light is always there within you.
His family gave him hope.
You fight harder than those other guys, and you win.
His spirit gave him strength.
We're gonna die out here.
We're not dying!
And in his darkest hour,
Who is the Olympic athlete?
his faith would not be broken.
Hello, Mother and Father. This will be the first time in 2 years that you'll have heard my voice. I wish you all a Merry Christmas. Your loving son, Louis.
On Christmas Day, experience the unbelievable true story of one man's journey home.
You can take it. You can make it. Just gotta believe you can.
If I can take it, I can make it.
Unbroken, rated PG-13, Christmas Day.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
Take this badge off of me. I can't use it anymore. It's getting dark, too dark to see. I feel I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, 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 knocking on heaven's door. Mama put my guns in the ground. I can't shoot them anymore. That long black cloud is coming down. I feel I'm knocking on heaven's door. Knock, knock, 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 knocking on heaven's door.
Welcome back, everybody. It's WTF, and I'm V. Wright.
And I am Jose Estevez. Welcome to the second hour of the show, folks.
Oh, the senor is so sick. I'm so sorry.
My throat, I don't know if it's going to last for the rest of the broadcast, so we need a lot of callers to call in. Come on.
You guys could, yeah, absolutely call in. If you don't want to call in about that, why don't you call in about this? Right to Rise. That is the new SuperPAC that will begin its big fundraising push Friday for the Democrat Jeb Bush.
That's about right, too. The Democrat Jeb Bush. You are exactly nailed it. Boom, right there. Oh, my gosh. You know, and okay, I got to go off on a little tangent here. I don't know if, no, probably not a lot of you know that when I went back to work yesterday, I had been off for a couple weeks over the holidays with my kids and stuff, which I typically do at this time of the year. But when I went back, I had these stickers all over my office that said, "I'm ready for Hillary 2016. Now, believe me, I give as good as I get, and they definitely know where I stand, although I am pretty much the token conservative. There's not many more of me around. But anyway, so like I said, that part I'm cool with, but these were all over the place. But then the person that did it, and I knew instantly who did it, actually said to me, "I don't even want Hillary." He said, "I want Elizabeth Warren because that will be a real liberal." And he said, so Hillary's not even liberal enough for him. And he wasn't joking either. He said, "I would much rather have Elizabeth Warren. That's somebody that could represent us and get something done." And I'm just sitting there like, I'm kind of afraid right now, but that's a true story. So Elizabeth Warren, you know, Pocahontas, if you guys don't, she had said she's got high cheekbones and stuff because she had Indian ancestry or something like that. You know, she makes like $400,000 or $500,000 a year teaching in some college. Typical commie teaching in an education of higher learning, you know, filling their heads full of mush like they aren't already. But yeah, there was this thing, is that, no, I really don't even want Hillary. Prefer Elizabeth Warren because Elizabeth Warren is a real progressive. I'm like, oh boy.
So basically, he doesn't want a liberal. He doesn't want a Democrat. He wants a communist.
He wants a communist. Flat out.
Does he know that he wants a communist? Is he bright enough to know that? I mean, I understand it's a government job, and so, you know, sometimes they aren't real bright there. I mean, I've been to the DMV. But does he even have sense enough to know that he wants a communist?
It's an interesting question, and I'm trying to think how to answer it. Not just because they may hear this at some point. I'm not afraid of that. I'm not afraid of that. We've had lots of conversations, and there are actually some things we can meet halfway on and sort of semi-agree on. But no, he wants, I think in some respects, they're disappointed that Obama has not done as much as they thought he would do, especially where it comes to the environment and stuff like that. And, of course, immigration and a lot of things he's done, he's kind of gone like right up to it, like he's done it. But like this immigration thing, like Ruthie from the Ruthie Report was saying, and we've talked about numerous times, he's never signed anything about illegal immigration, although you would certainly think he had, as much noise as they've made about it. But I think they wanted him to go much further than what he's gone. And yes, folks, there are people out there that's their point of view, and I can never understand it for 1 second. But yes, there are people out there. And then the other thing is there are people out there that don't have literally, and maybe you know some of them too, literally have a clue about what's going on in the world. Literally. And they'll tell me flat out, "I don't really want to know. I don't have time for that. I'm raising a family and stuff." And I'm thinking, exactly, you're raising a family. This is going to affect them at some point. But for right now, they're just happy making money, you know, going out to eat, you know, working their job and stuff, and whatever it is they do to occupy themselves, sports and stuff like that. And they really do not care one iota about what's happening.
Isn't that a scary thought that there's so many people out there? I mean, when you go home, because I know that you have smaller, younger children, because when I look at my grandchildren, you know, they're little guys, and I just think, what in the world are you going to get stuck with? What kind of life are you going to have? Already your life is not nearly what mine was.
That's true. Look at black, white unemployment for kids, you know, trying to get jobs and stuff like that. I mean, I'm telling you, folks, growing up in the 80s, after we moved back to America, to the great state of Texas, from overseas, there were jobs. I mean, I don't even think it was a question of if I would get a job, it was like, where will I get a job? My first job was typical of many, McDonald's, for a short period of time before I actually went to the Evil Empire Walmart, which wasn't at that point at all like that. It was only in big cities and rural areas, and they weren't very close to each other. But no, I mean, like I said, it wasn't a question of, and of course, it wasn't a question of, am I going to go get a job? Because yes, you are going to get a job. You want a car, you want all this stuff. You're going to have a job, but it wasn't like, can I even find one? There were jobs everywhere.
Yeah, I remember my first time out looking. Like I said, like I've said here on the show before, I was 14 years old, and I went looking for a job, and I put in probably 20 applications and got like 10 job offers.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it was just not a question of if I'm going to get one, because of course I'm going to get one, and of course I'm going to find one. It's where do I want to work? And I went to McDonald's, and shortly thereafter, realized I didn't want to work in fast food, so I went to I was old enough, I had turned 16, and I was able to get a job at the Walmart, and I stayed there for many, many years through high school and even starting in college. I worked there, part-time and sometimes almost as much as full-time when I was in college, so... but now the kids don't have those opportunities. That's one of the areas.
Wait a minute.
Do
they not have? Let's look at this legitimately. Do they not have? Did Burger King and McDonald's and all of the little fast food joints? Oh, what is it? Church's Fried Chicken, Popeyes, Wendy's, Arby's, KFC, Long John Silver's. I'm just off the top of my head trying to think of all. Did they stop hiring?
No, but I've seen more and more adults taking those jobs.
You want to know why? Because you have an entire youth, under 25 class of individuals or generation of individuals that, and I have heard this. I'm not working in no fast. That messes up my skin. I get dirt under my nails. They think they are too good for it. They don't pay enough. You don't have a high school education, dummy. What are you talking about? Somebody don't pay enough.
Well, that's a good point too, V. That is a very good point. We have a very self-centered, entitled generation, and one of my jokes during and when I work my regular job is that sometimes it scares me because these kids are going to be taking care of me maybe when I'm getting older and stuff, and it's like, holy smokes, are they going to be able to look up from their phones long enough to roll me over, in my bed and make sure I'm taken care of? I say that completely serious, not as a joke, because they are so self-centered and they are so entitled, and I'm going to be honest with you, the parents have a lot to do with that. It's not just... we can't blame it on the schools and stuff. The parents have a lot to do with it. They've given them everything to the nth degree, but they've never had to work for it or do anything for it. It's just they snap their fingers. And I don't know if their parents do it out of a sense of guilt because they're not always around, because they're off pursuing their own things and working and stuff like that. I don't know what it is, but these so many kids I've seen, and of course there's good ones out there too. Can't lump them all together, but so many I've seen are just so self-centered and entitled, and at ages much older than me are unable to do things that I was able to do, years before where they're at, because it was just part of growing up, things that were expected of us to do around the house.
Do you recall the video that was circulating, and it was even in the news, of the young man in California who was a surfer? That's what he did all day. And his claim to fame was, why should I work for a minimum wage job? And this young man was only like 19 years old. When I can get food stamps and sleep on the beach.
How can you argue with someone like that? Because how are you ever going to make them understand? How can you ever make them understand? And at 19 years old, that's not a young person at that point.
No, that is not somebody who is just youthfully ignorant. That is somebody who is choosing to remain stuck on stupid.
Right, 19 years old. How do you defeat that? How do you, or even try to get them to understand and become productive members of society? We all had to start somewhere, folks. Not everybody can start out at the top. I've been in the workforce for a long time, and I'm nowhere near the top where I'm at. That's just life. I don't feel like they owe it to me, or that, I've been held back by the man, or whatever perspective you're looking at it from. It's like, No, I mean, but a lot of people have that, and I don't understand that, because I was always raised by, people that worked, folks that worked at home, and had their jobs and stuff too, and there wasn't a whole lot of extras. There weren't vacations every year, going places and stuff like that, but yet we had a pretty doggone good life. I mean, for what it was, we had a pretty doggone good life. I got great memories, doing stuff together, sitting around the dinner table every night, almost every night, which is almost unheard of nowadays in a lot of respects.
Well, we started out this segment talking about the Democrat Jeb Bush, and people are probably wondering why I'm calling him a Democrat. Well, if you check into his SuperPAC and his website, you will see that he is doing his advertisements and his fundraising in both English and Spanish. He is pro-Common Core. He is pro-immigration. The things, he is all for Hussein care. He is a Democrat.
He really is.
He's running as a Republican. He is a Democrat running as a Republican. And there are a lot of people out there that are starting to say that the purpose in him getting this start is to hopefully watch him fumble by March and see Mike Huckabee pick up the ball. I'm going to tell you now, I don't want to see establishment anybody. No. I don't want an establishment candidate in our primaries to take our primary. Guys, whoever it is, we've really got to figure it out quick, understand that we're not going to like absolutely everything about them, but at the end of the day, if they can convince us that they are going to work as diligently as Hussein has on destroying this nation, on salvaging the Republic, and whoever the GOP attacks the most, whoever has the least corporate funding, that's probably the guy I'm going to stand behind.
Amen. And so will I, and many others just like us, V, and you know that. But you're right, he is a Democrat. He's not even a RINO, which stands for Republican in name only, RINO. He's not even that, and I don't think he tries to. I don't even think he tries to be.
Well, I mean, let's recall that
they are pushing him. They are pushing the MSM, the vermin in the mainstream media, are pushing him down our throats right now, and I'm kind of not liking that because my throat's hurting right now. But no, seriously, they are pushing him down our throats. They're trying to dictate who is going to be the next Republican, to run for president, much like they did with Romney.
One of my girlfriends said today that she would much rather just go ahead and vote for a communist than to vote for Jeb Bush, to continue the bleeding, to watch the suffrage. And, I understand where she's coming from. Do you want a quick death or a slow one? Jeb Bush is a slow death, folks. We cannot afford him. We are working so diligently to try to divert the bloodshed and salvage our republic and bring it back to its former glory. We cannot do that standing behind the likes of Trey Gowdy. We cannot do that standing behind the likes of Jeb Bush. It just can't happen, folks.
No, it cannot. You're right. And it's going to be a lot of work. If you thought that our work was behind us after we voted in November, and I think it's been made clear here in the last 12 hours, well, it's been about, we're getting close to 24 hours since the new Congress. Not since they've been sworn in, but kind of since they took over today. And, I mean, if you thought it was over, or we could kind of take a brief moment of relaxation and maybe savor the victory, I think it's been made very clear that that's not going to be the case whatsoever. We've got our work cut out for us for the next 2 years, because I was kind of hoping that this new Congress would come in, and even not being perfect, because we don't expect any person to be perfect, that they would at least be able to hobble the lame duck presidency of Hussein Obama. But I don't see that happening now with Boehner in charge and McCon man from Kentucky in the Senate. I just don't see that happening. And what am I going on? Once again, not by what they say, going on their actions and their past actions, folks. And there's nothing good. They've talked a good game at times, but they've
Buddy,
never,
it's
ever
the
followed
minute
through.
those elections are over,
Then-
they forget everything that they have ever said.
Isn't that the darndest
and
thing?
Buddy, I'm going to tell you something else. Not this year, but next year, guess who's going to be your best friend again?
Oh, of course, and they'll be talking a good game, as always.
And at that point, I'll be looking for their replacement, and I will be pushing their replacement. I can guarantee you in the next election cycle, I will have a whole list of suggestions of well-vetted individuals that I would prefer you voted for over any of the established GOP candidates over, because I know you're not going to vote for a communist, and I know you're not going to vote for a Democrat. But we will highly vet our GOP candidates next election cycle, folks. You can't keep us tuned in because we are going to hold them down, look in their backgrounds. If they voted, if they've had an opinion, we want to know about it.
I agree completely. The vetting is going to be crucial, and we've got time, folks, and we've also got to remember that no matter what, we can't get beaten down, and I know that's easy to say. I tend to be a pessimistic sort, just, because it seems to be like our intro song was, welcome to the new boss, same as the old boss. It seems to be that over and over, no matter what we're told. It's like Lucy pulling the football away from Charlie Brown all the time, and he always falls for it, and then he ends up on his back. But folks, we still, no matter what they make us think, we still have the power. It's just that we have to get together in the right numbers and funnel our efforts together and really pay attention. And that's one thing I think we've all got going for us. It gets hard. It gets tough. We're raising families. We're trying to make our lives, as good as they can be and stuff. But we have got to focus on it like we haven't for so many years and, continue to be active, very active.
Well, we told you guys when the election's November 4th, we told you guys, this ain't over. This is not over. And we said even in the last 2 weeks, the first month of January will be a big determining factor on whether or not that tide of red was effective. Now, we can have the tide of red, but it's got to be for the right folks, and it can't be for those individuals that are politics as usual, are in it for the power and the money and the power. That we've got to have people in there with ethics that have the courage of their convictions, that stand for something. These guys pander, then they go off to D.C. and they forget that we exist. And the solution may not be at the federal level, folks. Following the show tonight, it's state legislators of the round table with Charles Kaprowitz, the countermand amendment. That may be where, as a matter of fact, I am almost certain at this point that that's what we need to rally around. Instead of worrying about what's going on in Washington, D.C., let's worry about what's going on in our individual states, because our states ultimately have the power if they exert it. We have to make them exert it.
We have to take the power back, folks. We have to work on decentralizing that federal government just a little bit more, and it may seem like it's impossible at times, but the bigger it gets, the harder it's going to be. And government is not ever going to get smaller unless we do things to make it smaller. It's just going to continue to grow. What's those old 50s movies like The Blob and stuff like that? They keep absorbing more and more people, getting bigger and more powerful and stuff. That's kind of like your federal government, and it's out of control.
Well, the thing is to ratify anything in the federal government, it requires 35 states to sign on. We have well over 35 states that have Republican houses, senates, and governors. Why would it be so difficult for us in the next 2 years or in the next 6 months, for God's sakes?
Mm-hmm.
If we apply enough pressure, if we get the momentum going, each and every one of those red states can ratify the federal government and retake control of everything with the exception of the military, national security, And what was the other one? There's only like 3 things that the federal government is really in charge of.
Right. Yeah. And they've grown into so much more.
And we, as individual states, can take it back. But it really takes a push and an initiative. Maybe that's what it need. We need to remind those folks in, the likes of the Weeping Carrot, and Mitch McConnell's, whatever his name is, Sir Lies-a-Lot. Well, we just really have to get rid of their tyrannical style and make them recall. If with the right push, if we could get our individual states back in control of this situation, we could reel back their income, set term limits, and they have to answer to us every 2 years.
Wouldn't that be amazing? Think about that dream, and it's doable, folks.
It is totally doable. We could, on a state level, reel back, because there was a time where the states sent representatives to Washington, D.C., and they had to come back and answer to the states. But then they got up there and negotiated and said, okay, well, let's put forth this, this law, and we'll sell it to the states. And whatever states they had at the time bought it hook, line, and sinker. But it's time to reel them on back. They get away from home and they forget that they have to deal with folks at home until it's election time. But if they had to deal with us about every 3 months, don't you think it'd be another story? If they had to deal with us on a $80,000 salary instead of a $175,000 salary, don't you think it might be a different story? Guys, we've got to take a break. We'll be back in just a moment.
This is a station identification moment. You're listening to CPR Worldwide Media, a division of CPR Media Network, coming to you live right across the planet. Check out our website at www.cprworldwidemedia.com and our Facebook page at facebook.com/CPR Worldwide Media. This is CPR Media Network, coming to you live from the USA.
Well, looky here, a new listener. Hey, this ain't your little sister's radio station.
Over the next 40 years, the United States population is going to grow by over 90 million people, and almost all that growth is going to be in cities. What's the healthiest and best way for them to grow so that they really become cauldrons of prosperity and cities of opportunity? What we have found is that if that family is moved into safe, green, affordable housing, places that have access to great school systems, access to jobs, and multiple transportation modes, then the neighborhood begins to thrive and really, really take off. The oxygen of community redevelopment is financing. And all this rebuilding that happened could not have happened without organizations like Citi.
One of the things that we really try to do is to collaborate with people like Jonathan Rose, who are really like-minded and really can also provide innovative solutions to social issues.
And Citi has formed a partnership with our company so that we can take all the lessons from the revitalization of urban America to other cities. So we're now working in Chicago and in Washington, D.C., and Newark.
It's branching off of Jonathan's expertise and the fact that he has done so many wonderful affordable housing projects, new development and rehabilitation work. And so we were really seeing that there was a need for his skill in areas even outside of New York.
It's amazing how important safe, affordable housing is to the future of our society.
You meet new people, they want to know what you do. And when you tell them your job is to invest in things like low-income housing and schools and healthcare, they're shocked and they're so surprised that a job like this exists in finance. They always say that they had no idea, and then they want to know how they can get a job like that.
It's not about how many miles you can get out of the C-Max hybrid. It's about how much life you can fit into it. The Ford C-Max Hybrid, with an EPA estimated range of 540 miles on a tank of gas, and all the room you need to enjoy the trip. Go stretch out. Go further.
Come on, Harry! Dumb and Dumber 2 is the #1 movie in America.
Am I right?
What? Seriously, it's #1.
These guys are morons! I like her a lot.
Dumb and Dumber 2, rated PG-13. Now playing.
However dark the night, however dim our hopes, the light is always there within you.
His family gave him hope.
You fight harder than those other guys, and you win.
His spirit gave him strength.
We're gonna die out here.
We're not dying!
And in his darkest hour,
Who is the Olympic athlete?
his faith would not be broken.
Hello, Mother and Father. This will be the first time in 2 years that you'll have heard my voice. I wish you all a Merry Christmas. Your loving son, Louis.
On Christmas Day, experience the unbelievable true story of one man's journey home.
You can take it. You can make it. Just gotta believe you can.
If I can take it, I can make it.
Unbroken, rated PG-13, Christmas Day.
Read something recently worth thinking about. It's the soldier, not the campus organizer, who's given us freedom to demonstrate. It's the soldier, not the reporter, who's given us freedom of the press. It's the soldier, not the poet, who's given us freedom of speech. It's the soldier who serves under the flag, who defends the protesters' right to burn the flag. Isn't it time now to demonstrate that we support our troops? Were it not for the brave, there'd be no land of the free.
Fred Thompson's message was brought to you by citizensunited.org.
I feel good. I knew that I would now. I feel good. I knew that I would now. So good, so good. I got you. I feel nice. Sugar and spice. I feel nice. Sugar and spice. So nice, 'cause I got you. When I hold you in my arms, I know I can't do no wrong now. When I hold you in my arms, my love can't do me no harm, and I feel nice. I feel nice, sugar and spice. So nice that I got you. When I hold you in my arms, I know that I can't do no wrong. And when I hold you in my arms, my love can't do me no harm, and I feel nice, sugar and spice. I feel nice, sugar and spice. So nice, that I got you. Wow, and I feel good, like I knew that I would now. I feel good, I knew that I would. So good, 'cause I got you. So good, 'cause I got you. So good, 'cause I got you.
Welcome back, everybody. It's WTF, and I am V-Right.
And I am Jose Estevez. Welcome back to the last segment, folks. We're glad to have you with us.
Oh, yeah. Well, of course, you know, we as always, got many things to discuss.
Don't we always?
Yeah. Hey, I got some good news.
Okay, hit us with it.
I have got some good news. You guys are going to love this. Well, I think it's good news. You know Jihadi John with the ISIS?
Yeah.
Yeah. He just seemed like such a nice guy beheading everybody, didn't he?
Well, it was just, a little workplace violence. He liked to take a little off the neck.
Well, apparently turnabout is fair play, and if you live by the sword, you die. One, because they found him they found his head with a cigarette shoved in his mouth.
Well, and if people don't understand, that's actually, for Islam, that's a pretty big sacrilege and, messing with his corpse and stuff. So not only did they take his head off like he's done to numerous other people, but they shoved that cigarette up in there. And, and nobody's claiming responsibility for it. I believe it happened in Syria, right, V?
That is correct, with a note on it that said, "This is evil, you sheikh."
Right. So somebody's sending a very, very strong message, but apparently they caught him unawares and kind of gave him a taste of his own medicine. And, yeah, that's the end of him.
Well, apparently he was a smoker. He had a habit, and those folks unsure, I told you guys, man, they've gone after the Sunnis like the Sunnis weren't conservative enough. They've gone after them because when they say no drugs, no cigarettes, no alcohol, they mean that.
Well, yeah, but wait a minute, isn't he getting his virgins now?
I don't think so, because they consider smoking a slow suicide.
Right, so does he not get his virgins? What does he get now?
I have maybe he gets like some goats? I don't know.
Burning in the eternal fire?
Yeah,
well, of course, I'm not judging him, I'm just, saying.
Okay, you're just saying. I don't know. What happens there? I have no idea.
No.
Apparently, ISIS thinks, that he's not entitled to virgins. I'm just saying. ISIS has declared smoking a slow suicide and demands that every smoker should be aware that with every cigarette he smokes in a state of trance and vanity is disobeying Allah.
That's interesting. Cutting people's heads off, that's not a big problem. Beheading, decapitating people, whatever you want to call it, workplace violence.
Killing a couple of Christians,
nah. Smoking a doggone cigarette, taking a drag on a fag, and for those of you that are not following me, that's the way the British call a cigarette. Not trying to say anything else there. So, really, that thing is worse than cutting heads off of people. What?
Oh, if he had your scotch on the rocks there, he'd be that'd have been it. It would have been it. But I guess the cigarette was it.
I guess
you know what? That's what we need to do. That's how we combat. I just figured it out.
Uh-oh.
How do we combat ISIS? It is so simple. It is so simple. All we have to do is drop off a couple of 1,000 cartons of Camel menthols and a couple of bottles of tequila.
Oh my goodness! Wait a minute. That's going to give a whole nother meaning to smoking a camel for a Muslim over in the Middle East. I'll be very thankful for us dropping the Camel cigarettes. But do we do the hard packs or the soft packs? And do we do filters or unfiltered? We got to figure that all out here.
Oh, just go ahead. Let's splurge. Give them the filters. It's still cheaper than a bomb, so.
But wait a minute. Then, if we have a whole tax thing on these cigarettes and they aren't paying the tax, then never mind. I'm not going to talk about
with all the money that we give them, if they kill each other over cigarettes and tequila, hey, I'm good with that. Here we go. Let's help. I'm dead serious. You guys think I'm crazy. I've been accused of that before. But it is really a thought. If we can get them all drunk and get them hating each other because they're all drunk and they're all smoking cigarettes, hey, we can ship them some California ganja too.
Oh my goodness, we can start bringing back American manufacturing. We can manufacture the marijuana, the cigarettes, the tobacco. Oh my goodness, think about that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
Hey, if we really want to do something for the American economy, we can send them Jack Daniels.
Jack Daniels. Can they have a pina colada, too? Oh, wait. Did I just do that again?
Yes, you did. If you like pina coladas.
That little earworm, folks. We're sharing it with you.
Y'all have to understand when it comes to stuff like that. Jose and I have this thing, when we're off air, we will say things that we know we'll just like dig in somewhere, and all through the show that little thing just keeps coming up and popping up. His is the Pina Colada song.
Once I get it in my head, I have to do something like the Muppets Mana or something like that to get it out.
That's okay. I'm trying to make it bop. Bop.
I'm not doing. Oh my goodness! Don't bring up memories of that. That's mean. That's just mean. What's the name of that little boy group? Bop.
Wasn't that Hanson?
Hanson. How could I?
Bop. Bop.
Knew it wasn't New Kids on the Block.
Hey, you guys know something? I'm racist.
Why?
Well,
of course.
According to our Department of Justice, Czar, King, whatever, Hamas holder, because I consistently say, let's take our country back, I'm racist. He says there are certain levels of vehemence, it seems to me, that's directed at me and directed at the president. People talking about taking their country back. There's a certain racial component to this for some people. I don't think this is the thing that is the main driver, but for some, there's racial tones. You know what? For somebody who when somebody only focuses on the color of their skin, as he has made clear that is so important to him, it is the be all end all of everything is that he's a black man. Isn't it funny how those people see racism everywhere?
In everything, just like Michelle Maybell seeing racism and being in Target and somebody asking her to help her get up something off the higher shelf.
Which didn't happen.
Which didn't happen to begin with, but I mean, seriously, come on.
And I do believe we were the first ones to announce that was going to come out as being a total fraudulent story, because there was no way. Number one, if you go into Target and you've slipped your Secret Service detail to run into Target, just you and your little assistant, who took the picture of you and your assistant?
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure she doesn't go anywhere without several photographers at least. Come on, really?
And
no
then it comes out through Target. Oh no, we shut down pretty much the whole store except for a few people that were perfectly contained by security. And oh yeah,
Hey, V, it's on a totally different vein, but since we're getting close to the end of the show, I want to do a couple funny stories just to kind of leave the people on a little bit lighter mood. But one of my friends on social media was telling me today, you know what, we could really burn the irreverent Al Sharpton by telling him, you know what, we'll forgive your $4.5 million tax bill. We'll just call it reparations. That would really get him. Say, we'll just consider it your reparations, so now you don't get anything else. Because let's face it, folks, he's not going to pay anything anyway. That just seems to be the way it works. But now here's another funny story about Reverend Al, and of course we can never poke enough fun at this jerk off. But anyway, the Reverend Al Sharpton's Viagra prescription was found in a gentleman by the name of Sandy Rubenstein's home during a probe that cleared Sandy Rubenstein, a famed lawyer, of rape accusations. And this is according to a police source. Now here's what Al Sharpton says. They released this information that I had a Viagra prescription, and he says, quote, "If the motive of the cop was to embarrass me, at 60 years old, I am unembarrassable." I'm pretty sure he just made that word up. So here's what I got to say for Al. But embarrass we must, and we will much about that be embarrassed. Because, it's where he got tongue-tied during one of his segments over on PMSNBC. And just makes up words like crazy. Unembarrassable. So Yeah, but I didn't need to know that he takes Viagra. I don't really care. And I need to get that out of my mind, just like I need to get that song out of my mind as well.
No. Guess what? I'll be texting you over the next couple of days.
Heavens forbid. Goodness gracious. Hey, here's another funny one. Students slam Michelle O lunch rules, stating the trash cans are more full than my stomach. Oh, snap. Oh my goodness. They have taken away their Powerade and replaced it with water. Mayo has been banned. It's just complete communism right here, folks. That's what this is. Pure unfettered communism. They can't use anything.
And we are allowing it. We are allowing this with our children. What is wrong with us?
Right. They said a child nutrition employee at a Bismarck public school says complying with the rules for sodium intake is a challenge because salt is in nearly everything. And folks, I got to look into how much this actually is, but they're saying the sodium target for schools is 1,230 milligrams per lunch for elementary and 1,420 milligrams for high school students. That's probably a couple grains, I'm assuming. It can't be a whole lot based on what the schools are saying. It's hard to comply with and make things, that the kids will actually eat. Now, I've got to read a lunch menu to you here real quick. Crusted tilapia, oh yummy. Herb roasted chicken, strawberries and chèvre salad, I'm not sure if I said that right. Freshly baked muffins, pesto cream and garden fresh marinara sauce, cheese tortellini, all natural house-made chicken fingers, scallion rice, roasted edamame and shiitake mushrooms, jicama mango slaw. You know where that is, folks? That's at the Sidwell Friends School that Mr. and Mrs. Obama's kids attend. Those are some of the things that are on their lunch menu. So it's obviously a case of let them eat cake. Well, hold on, they can't eat cake either. Crap. So you know what? For the rest of you peons, you can have an excrement sandwich. Bon appetit, America.
I'm going to tell you right now, nothing irritates me more than the fact that our parents are not absolutely just going to the schools at their children's school lunch and bringing them whatever they want them to have and say, this is my child.
Right.
This is my child. Until you as a parent stand up and defend your child, you are allowing them to be indoctrinated slaves to learn to accept whatever is handed to them. Now, does that not... I know we have a society of youth that are out of control and they need reining in, but they don't need reining in by the governments. Parents, do your jobs. I'm going to tell you where I'm going to be Friday. Friday, I'm going to be at my grandchildren's school. We don't do a show Friday. Friday, that's where I'm going, and I'm going for lunch. And let it be like that. Let it be like that. I may not make it here Monday.
Well, you know how I get around it, V? And it's really simple, folks. I send my girls to school with lunch every day. My youngest always takes a sack lunch, and there's no shame in her game. She goes in there, and guess what? She eats it all. She gets a tortilla or two. She gets some cheese. She loves Colby Jack cheese. A little bit of ham, some goldfish. You know what? May not be the most well-balanced meal, but she eats it all. She's full. It gets her through the day. I don't need Michelle Obama or anybody else telling my kids what the heck they're going to eat. And like I said, they pack their lunch. My oldest one most of the time, but my youngest one every day. And she comes home and she's eating it all. They get their snacks and stuff too. But then you don't even have to deal with that crap that the schools are dishing out. Literally, the crap that they're dishing out. Pretty much gruel is what it sounds like at this point, But of course, that's what happens when you have Marie Antoinette up there in the White House dictating how people can eat, even though, what's good for us is not good for her kids, of course. They eat like they're little. Well, of course, the whole thing is that some animals are more equal than others. We know that. So there's my rant on that.
Well, all I can say is, parents, get off your butt, go to your child's school, see what they're feeding them.
Get involved, folks.
You will be appalled. You will be appalled. Eat lunch with your child. One day at public school. You will not force your children to eat that garbage anymore. I promise you that. Guys, we're coming to the end of our show. Of course, it's a wonderful opportunity to be with you guys Monday through Thursday from 7 to 9 Eastern. You guys make sure to follow State Legislators of the Roundtable with Charles Kaprowitz and his crew immediately following this show. Senor.
Thank you, folks, for bearing with us tonight. We appreciate you listeners. And God bless America. And listen to this song that we're going to have as we play you on out into the next show, Brothers in Arms. It's a great song, but it's got deeper meaning than that, too. Enjoy your evening and be back with us tomorrow for What the F Wednesday. God bless America.
These mist-covered mountains are a home now for me, but my home is the lowlands, and always will be. Someday you'll return to your valleys and your farms, and you no longer burn to be brothers in through these fields of destruction, baptisms of fire, I've witnessed your son